Hello everyone, it's me, Kirsty, again. This is part 2 of Gabby Petito. Now, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Gabby. I know a lot of you that watch my channel already know exactly what's going on, and thank you so much for all of the information in the comments, by the way. That's fantastic. But first of all, let's have a little look at exactly what happened to Gabby and who Gabby is. Here's beautiful Gabby Petito. Gabby is 22 years old, 5'5", with blonde hair and beautiful blue eyes. She's got a triangle tattoo on her left arm, and it's just with flowers, and also another little tattoo saying "Let it be" on her right arm. So she's been travelling with Brian Laundrie. She had been travelling with Brian Laundrie, living the van life, in a 2012 Ford Transit van. She was travelling all over the place and seemingly really enjoying life with Brian. Now, a whole bunch of things have happened in the last 2 days. I can't even keep up with it. I've been manically doing charts and everything that I can. So let's have a little look and go through a few things in the best order that I can. My brain's really scattered because there's so much information, but let's have a look. And then we'll backtrack over the last video and see how amazing that was. And by the way, if you haven't looked at the Scribble Maps link in the description, have a look at it and please zoom in and see where the lines were drawn before we knew any of this information about where she was seen, where he was picked up hitchhiking, all that stuff. Anyway, I'll get into that. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank Nikki. Thank you so much for getting this time and discussing what you did about Neptune and everything. Unbelievably, I've been looking at this chart and doing some mapping, and this is probably going to blow you away, Nikki, as well as everybody else. But so this is when Gabby's mum reported her missing at Suffolk Police Station in Yaphank, New York, 6:55 p.m. This, to me, is probably the best chart to look at because it's it's a police record, even though it's a long time later. So we're going to be looking at the other charts, of course, but let's have a look at this one. First of all, let's have a look at what we're looking at. She's reporting her missing. So we're not looking at where's Gabby right now. We're looking at the report, and then we can layer on top of it some other things about where Gabby might be and what's going on. So first of all, when a report is made to police, now the police, as you'll see here, the police or policemen are ruled by a few different signs and planets. Virgo is one of them. Mars is another one. Saturn is another one because it's an authority figure. The 6th house. Oops. This house here. And also Pluto and Jupiter to an extent as well. So Jupiter and Pluto. Now, that's just policemen. So she's gone to the police station. The 3rd house cusp here is where she's communicating the problem, what she wants to communicate. The 3rd house cusp is 0 degrees of Gemini. Gemini is talking about what happened. Okay, so we have Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury in the 7th house, and the whole 7th house is the law as well. So it's her talking to the law here. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. She's extremely concerned, obviously, about where Gabby is. We can see that here. So we can see the layering of the police report. Now, there's a few really interesting planets and degrees as well that I want to have a look at. So you might remember from the last video, and if you didn't watch the last video, please have a look at it. It's very interesting. Neptune. Neptune here is absolutely pivotal in this. Now, Neptune represents lies and deception and, well, so many things. Neptune represents a lot of things, but in the instance of the mapping, when I was doing the mapping, from Ogden to Grand Teton, Neptune went there. And I'll show you that again in a minute. So we need to keep in mind here that Neptune is really important. Now, also, if you watched the last time as well, you'll note that I was sticking with 20 to 27, 2.0 miles, 20 miles, 200 miles, 220 miles, 270 miles, 240 miles. We've got definitely a lot of lines. The reason being, look at all these, 24, 24. The sun here, even though it's in Virgo, completely different month, is at 19 degrees 25. It was at 20 degrees in the other chart, which I'll show you in a second. So 20, again, is important. 22 degrees at the IC and the MC, so we've got 2.2 and 220 again. Neptune at 21. You know, I'm sticking around this radius, and I'm going to show you where I'm going to go with it. But first, let's have a look at a couple of the things that I just said in between here, and you can have a look at the map and so forth. Then we're going to have a look at another couple of charts. Perfectly timed as well, thankfully. Thanks to my great subscribers. Thank you so much. Oh, and I have to thank Northern Akashic Healer. Thank you so, so much for your time and information that you gave me. Map, and it looks super confusing. Now, I've added a few different things. I've put some different areas on it, but I want to go through it with you. I did this, I can't prove this, but anyway. Well, I can. I did it the other day on video, but still, I've done more work before we knew anything about these sightings. Excuse me. So just this morning, when I found out that there was that Brian Laundrie actually got into a vehicle hitchhiking at COLTER Bay Dam on the 29th of August at 5:30 p.m. He then jumped out of the car at 6:09 p.m. Thank you, Northern Akashic Healer. He's gone. Now, I'm going to look at some charts, but my intuition immediately tells me one of two things. A, he's gone back to try and find/hide her better. B, he's killed himself. Now, the fact that they were so close and some terrible things had gone on and there was mental issues on his behalf, I believe, it wouldn't surprise me. Now, of course, there's other theories. Perhaps he's being hidden, you know, but something nefarious is going on, obviously. Smudge barked then. Perhaps he's being hidden. Anyway, Brian Laundrie has gone missing. I've got a feeling that they're going to find him pretty soon, though, because communication, you know, CCTV, phones, GPS, all of that. He's not going to be, he won't get too far. So thank you very, very, very much for the information that I was given for that. Now, let's just have a look at the map. So when I found out that Brian had vanished, I was interested in an area that I'd put down yesterday for some reason, and I'll show you that in a minute. But first of all, let's have a look at this. Here we have the area that we're interested in and where he lives. Oops. Okay, so it's a long, long way. If we look here, 1.969 thousand miles, 1,900 miles, 1,900. Let's have a look at something. Interesting. Okay, so this is the chart where Brian was picked up in COLTER Bay, hitchhiking, which is extremely weird. He was picked up at 5:30 and dropped out at 6:09 on the 29th. And he said that the van that he was in was with his girlfriend somewhere else, and that he needed to go to Jacksonville, I believe it was. I'll check that. So this is a weird one, but also one that I just want to have a quick look at. So off the bat, just get my pen. We've got that 22-degree IC and MC again. It's interesting. Very interesting. We've got Leo, which is sun-ruled, all in that 7th house. Mercury is at 29 degrees of Virgo. Pluto's right on in the 12th house at 24 degrees there. The moon is in Gemini. Hang on, what's Gemini? The 5th house cusp. What I do see overall here is, so we're looking at him getting out of a vehicle after hitchhiking, talking lies. He's lying again, okay, obviously. So the vehicle, again, the 3rd house in Aries, 24 degrees of Aries. Okay, so Pluto, which is not a great planet, whoops, daisy, is making an exact square to the 3rd house cusp. Okay, so that's him, because he's getting in the vehicle. He's Saturn, Capricorn. He is getting in the vehicle. Getting out of the vehicle, I should say. Yeah, this doesn't look great at all. Now, Pluto's making an aspect to this 29-degree Mercury in the 8th house. He was talking about something that wasn't true, obviously. He said that she was back in the van. He was lying, obviously. That's this. And look at it. It's opposing Neptune. Think. Lies. Okay, so that's the 609 one. Let's move forward a little bit more. Okay, guys, so here's the map that I did yesterday, and I've added a little bit to it. It's complex. It's definitely complex, but something that's caught my eye. This line, this Neptune line. This Neptune line, which goes from Ogden and actually goes from where she was last seen, Salt Lake City, straight up, is an interesting point. I'll just go back to it. There's a cross point here. Just delete that, get that out of the way. Snake River and 191. I think that's an area where I'd be looking. Teton Point turnout, Schwabaka Landing, and Snake River. That's just one area. Okay, so going by the police report, the ruler of Gabby is this line here, 24 degrees of Aquarius. Now, I've started here at Jenny Lake because I had heard that perhaps she was seen or something at Jenny Lake. And then more and more and more I'm hearing about Jenny Lake, Stringer Lake, Coulter Bay Dam, Jackson Lake. So I thought I'm just going to start here at this point. I've started all over the place, as you can see. I've got another map. But I'm focusing here. So this line here goes, let's zoom right in. Well, they're a bit skewish, but very close. Here. Now, Coulter Bay Dam Coulter Bay, oops. There's another line. Okay, so he was seen at Coulter Bay on the 29th of August at 5:30 to 6:09. Probably around here. Okay. Oh, this line here is, oh, you can't see it, 200-mile line out, which is where we were focusing on yesterday, which was Grand Teton, just right here. Broken Falls keeps on standing out as well. I've got to say that. I'm going to just delete that out of the way. Okay, so just to add on, I thought I would add the opposition to the 6 degrees of Leo. So hang on, let's go back here. The house that his parents lived at is exactly 6 degrees of Leo from that spot, okay? So opposite that is Aquarius, 6 degrees Aquarius. So I thought, well, let's go out 6 degrees Aquarius from that Jenny Visitor Centre. And this is what I have. This is the 6 degree Aquarius line. I'll just move this. This one is 8 Aquarius, which, lo and behold, is Saturn. I'll show you in a minute. Sorry about my speed here. So between 6 Aquarius and 8 Aquarius we've got this wedge of an area that goes to this big falls area, which I'm interested in. And yeah, I know this is looking crazy now. There's a lot of lines. So the very next video that I do, I'm going to be minimising these lines now that the charts have come forward with times and we've got more accuracy. Then I'll be able to take away some of this stuff and see what's going on. But I am interested that opposite that home line runs through Jenny Lake and a falls area, which I've been interested in falls because I noted the other falls before. So yeah, I thought I would just pop that one in there. Obviously, there is a whole lot of areas here, but what I'm always interested in is cross points. They're everywhere. They're all over here. Snake River area, even over here, even down here. But we have to consider the drive let's have a look from Coulter Bay to north. 35 hours, that's a long way, isn't it? So that's how you would drive if you were going home, probably, unless you took the long way. We'll highly doubt that, unless you went completely somewhere else, or, you know, we'll have to figure that one out. Now, there's something interesting here. If we have a look at this line here, have a look around here. This is a place that I circled because it's a crossing point between the areas here. This was yesterday, and then when I heard that Brian went missing, I started to wonder, has he backtracked up here, possibly, to try and hide her better? Or get her, if she's alive. Smudge likes that. So, again, this place is interesting, and it is along the way around here. So you would have to drive that way. Let's look at the roads. Right here, see? So another area that I'm interested in. Now, I know that there's so much to this, and I apologise that the map is just crazy, but I want to put every little bit of information that I possibly can. I'm going to tip it in. I don't know if anyone's going to look at it. I really hope so. I would hope maybe the parents would consider having a look. I've left a link in the description to the map. I'll update it to the very best map that I have, and I'll continue on as we keep going. I have a feeling that this is going to come to a conclusion quite soon. In fact, let's look at the 911, not 911, sorry, let's look at the police report chart to have a little look at the overlay of possibly what's going to happen. Looking at something, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do Neptune because it's so pivotal. I know it is, and because of all the talk of these dams and lakes and everything like that. So I've put the Neptune line in from Jenny Lake. Now, I just want to show you something. So it goes through Jenny Lake. It goes through String Lake Trailhead. Lee Lake, Jackson Lake, Grassy Lake Reservoir. I'm interested in that area as well. Cascade Creek Falls. If that's a waterfall, I am also interested in this. Let's have a look. Very interesting. Everywhere we look, everywhere, the chart's doing the same thing it always does. It's telling us exactly where they've been seen. It's a mess, the chart is, I can see that. But between this line here and this line here, these two, the fact that they go on all those lakes, let's just see something. If we take Gabby to be ruled by Pisces, Neptune and Jupiter, Jupiter's in Aquarius, there's a lot of water there. Both of those areas lead to the water, so that's another interesting point. The moon at 24 degrees of Scorpio. Actually, let's have a look at something. I think I remember something interesting. Okay, I just had to look for it quickly. Because of the repetitiveness of 24, I went out 2.4, and because the moon in this chart here is at 24 and everything else is at 24, 24 Scorpio. Scorpio doesn't matter because that's not that direction. But interesting, look at this. Now we have a real intersection. This area is looking interesting. I know I've said that a lot, but this area really is. We've got a lot of crossing points. The moon on the actual chart that's, you know, specific with the mileage outwards. But of course, we have to consider up here because this here is the ruler of Gabby, and that other line that I showed you, which I seem to have lost, the Neptune line that goes through all of those lakes as well. So I'll put, like I said, I'll put the link below for the scribble maps so you can have a look at it. Anyone can have a look at it. You can zoom in and look at particular areas. And I'm going to keep going and try and narrow this down. But we've been given so many areas and so much has gone on. Yeah, I think it's we're going to have to wait and see. But I really, really hope Gabby's okay. I've got a horrible feeling that she may not be. But we can always hope for the best. And it's just so sad that these things continue to happen day after day after day. And also, I'd be crazy not to say that once again, you can go through all of my videos. Every time we're looking for a missing person, other people turn up deceased in the area. Those two women that were shot in Moab were on the line. It's amazing. I don't believe that they're connected. Not at all. I don't believe they're connected. I believe it's a coincidence. No such thing as a coincidence. I believe it's something that happens every time I do this astrology, or every time they look for a person. There's too many missing people. So please, if you know anything about Gabby, please call this number or tell somebody. If you can share the map to the family and they're interested, I would be really appreciative. I understand that people don't fully understand it, and it can be scary and overwhelming, but I'm always here to help. So take care, everybody, and until the next video. See ya. Bye.